Two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Monday statements. So many things out this weekend. Woo. Curious to see where this goes. Declan will fire someone's ass here at some point. Let's start out with underdog here, Dex, though. Going into this is a fun football week. Fun football weekend last week and this week. It's a great time to be locked in on football.
Yeah, even they dropped surprise tokens for certain sports. So for example, AJ Fredrickson and I, who are just locked in an underdog at all times, had a little weekend win this weekend. A little 3-item pick, which had 50% profit bonus. A token just falls into your lap on Friday. You take Sabonis, you take Maxey, you take Clint Capella. Yeah, we're elite basketball minds. We might just be hockey dudes sometimes, but no. We know our NBA picks here and there.
You've always been a big Clint Capella proponent on these podcasts.
Well, everyone knew going into that Chicago game, the Bulls are one of the worst rebounding and paint defending teams in the world, which means Clint Capella is obviously going to feast for over 11.5. I mean, come on. Underdog promo code SKOR for a 50% deposit match. Football, NBA, NHL, college football. Plenty of great stuff at Underdog. Promo code SKOR for a 50% deposit match.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out for statement number one. Because I just see a lot of chatter, even on Ventline a little bit yesterday. And I just want to say, if you are anxious or upset about the way in which the Vikings have won some of these games recently, my statement is pay attention to the rest of the NFL right now. These games yesterday, there were 4 games in the witching hour yesterday alone that were all within like 30 minutes, just crazy back and forth. The Chiefs blew a double-digit lead to the Panthers and had to run back down and kick a game-winning field goal. Patrick Mahomes had to rip off like a 30-yard run with 30 seconds to go in that game just to put the Chiefs in field goal range to beat the Panthers. The Titans and the Texans were going back and forth. That's a completely dead-in-the-water Titans team against a Texans team that has aspirations to make a playoff run. Texans lose at home 32-27 to the Titans. And then a Washington Commanders team that's had full control over that division up until like 2 weeks ago, playing at home a Cowboys team with Cooper Rush as the starting quarterback and no discernible running backs of note. And they're crawling back from behind, have to score a miracle touchdown just to get in position to miss an extra point, and then the Cowboys come down and win the game. So I just feel like in the NFL right now and in general, if your team goes on the road and beats a good defense, don't ask for a whole lot more than that. Just like the league is crazy when you zoom out beyond the Vikings against the Bears and the Titans and the Jaguars.
Yeah. The only thing I would ask for is Johnny Munt not to accidentally touch the ball after 8 yards instead of 10.
That's fair.
How about that?
Fair.
Can I just ask for that? My guy, Johnny Munt, I'm done with him, by the way. I'm done with him.
Oh, wow.
I'm dumping him. But anyway.
I mean, people make mistakes.
Yes, games are... people make
your fault.
These guys...
Actually, it is your fault, Johnny.
Yeah, it's totally your fault, dude. It went 8 yards, and they're like, well, he kicked the ball. He's like, I was going up to block. Okay, are you aware of where the cutoff line is for the football? But anyway, you are right about games. Games are absolutely crazy. It's what makes this league so much fun. But as I've always said, it's also why, like, when you sit down and try to watch an entire game at times, like the endings are great, right? But if you sit down and try to watch an entire game, it's like, oh, a lot of this is crap, because that's what leads to the great finish.
Yeah, well, and I mean, if we can pick nits about are the Vikings an actual Super Bowl contender or not, but if there's any doubt over whether they're one of the 5 or 6 best teams in the NFL, go watch some of the 5 or 6 worst teams in the NFL, like the Giants franchise right now. Oh my gosh, so bad.
So here's my statement off of that. I feel like this team is far more of a contender than the 2022 team, despite the recent, I don't know, what can you call them, flaws?
Yeah.
I feel like this team, when you look at that, this team has an impressive point differential. What's it, plus 70 something, I believe?
Plus 77, 5th best in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly right. And when you look at the construct of this team, now you do have to eliminate dumb mistakes. Every team does. Sometimes it's penalties, not so much on Sunday. Sometimes it's ill-timed interceptions and fumbles. We did have a fumble. Sometimes it's special team stupidity. We did have that. But I feel like this is a far more of a team that if it can make the tournament, which it's going to, I think is far more of a threat than the team that played the Giants, because when your defense is that bad, I don't think you have a hope. And their defense now, and yes, I know again there are some holes, but their defense is far superior. And I also think that you have, and if I may, at quarterback, hot take here. If you're faced with nut cutting time, 4th down late in the game, in a playoff game, guess who is going to do exactly what he's told, which is not throw short of the sticks? Sam Darnold.
Oh, wow.
Now, it might be picked off.
I love this take.
It might be picked off. It might fall, incomplete because he might have to force a ball in.
You know what?
But you're never going to lose a game. I don't think you're ever going to lose a playoff game because it's late in the game and you're down and your quarterback takes a check down.
I love that take for a myriad of reasons, but I'll give you a statement on top of that statement, and then Declan can jump in with 5 statements if he wants here. But
8 statements.
But Kirk Cousins operates a lot throughout his career, looking to avoid the blame. He doesn't want to be and he even said it we've talked about this in his biography, autobiography.
Yep.
I don't want to be the reason why my team loses. I don't want to be the reason, the person to blame for why my team loses. I'm not going to sabotage this game. Sam Darnold hunts for the blame, which is good and bad. Like, he's out there just throwing, double coverage over here. I don't care. That's where Justin Jefferson is. Pocket closing in, 40 yards down the field to Addison, Naylor, whoever. Yeah, I'll hang in there an extra second and risk a strip sack or something colossal.
Yep.
So that could either be very fruitful at some point for the Vikings or not. But he's not. 4th and 8, season on the line. That ball's being thrown 12, 15, 40 yards down the field.
You'll go down swinging. Yeah. I would rather go down swinging than questioning why you gained 4 yards.
Also on the 2022 team, so they were 15th in point differential despite their 13-win record, which kind of showed you, they're more of a middle-of-the-pack team that just got fortunate in close games. So 15th best point differential. This team is 5th. The 2022 Vikings had a bottom 5 defense. This year, they have a top 5 defense. Offense is kind of similar in terms of like fringe top 10. There are some periods where they just can't score in the red zone, but totally different in terms of the viability of 2022 versus 2024.
All right, so actually I thought about using this as the hottest take on Purple Daily, but I'll sprinkle it onto here as a little bonus ammunition. Move over Brock Purdy, because the most misunderstood quarterback in the NFL is now Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is the most misunderstood quarterback. I believe I was watching ESPN Countdown yesterday before the games, because I'm not going to watch Fox. And there was a huge discussion between the panel. I believe it was Rex Ryan, Greeny, Teddy Bruschi, and Alex Smith. And ironically enough, it was Alex Smith who said, I don't think we're literally talking about how effective this guy is. And both Teddy and Rex Ryan said, well, no, I don't trust the Vikings at all because they have Sam Darnold. Dude, he has 21 touchdowns. He's led 2 game-winning drives the last 2 of the last 3 weeks. He's been rejuvenated in an offense that has playmakers all around it. They took away Justin Jefferson yesterday, and he still fed the rest of the playmakers. Look, Sam Darnold, is he going to be an MVP candidate? No, but he deserves a ton of respect for what he's doing. And this discourse that's always been around Brock Purdy, well, it's the system with Brock Purdy. And, what is he going to get for a next contract? I don't know. I'm glad we're not doing 49ers Daily in that regard. However, he is incredibly disrespected, just like Brock Purdy is. And he has this team at 9-2 through 11 games, and everyone just keeps saying, oh, just wait for the shoe to drop. They have Sam Darnold. When's the shoe dropping? They won 9 games. The Niners haven't won back-to-back games all season long, dude. Like, also, Darnold is doing it.
The shoe can drop. The shoe drops for Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and the shoe can drop for anyone other than Patrick Mahomes. Apparently,
the shoe dropped. The shoe dropped, right? Like you lost back-to-back games, and then you won back-to-back games with your quarterback throwing 5 picks. It dropped. This is the thing. So there probably is a very similar discussion, and personally, I don't care, but there probably is a very similar Purdy discussion here with Darnold is doing what he's told, and he's doing a good job, and he gets credit for that. But this is part and parcel the system.
Mm-hmm.
he did not just like recover and like, here's what I'm going to do. He does what he's told. Sometimes that leads to picks because things go awry. But more importantly, post Jacksonville, you got him back. He's doing what you want. And between O'Connell and Darnold, what we've seen these past 2 games has been impressive. So the shoe did drop. But guess what?
It's back on.
He rebounded.
It's back up or whatever.
That was a very important sequence, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of felt like, oh, man, is his career about to go completely in the dumps again? And no, we should almost we should build in some sort of, maybe in the State of Sam Darnold Tuesdays, before we were doing percentage chance that he's the Vikings starting quarterback in 2025, and we all just kind of agree. Yeah, it's clearly J.J. McCarthy's team. Maybe the new question is, after each week, what is the contract that he's going to get from, like, how many average annual value dollars per year
I like it.
is he going to get right now?
I like it.
In fact, I'll pull up a list of current quarterbacks just for fun.
Yep.
So the top, I think Dak, in terms of average annual value, set the market at 60. Yep.
That's unfortunate.
So average annual value, Dak 60, and then you have Burrow, Jordan Love, and Trevor Lawrence all at 55. Mm-hmm. You have Tua and Jared Goff at 53. And then you have Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts all over 51. Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson at 46. Kirk Cousins at 45. Mahomes at 45. Josh Allen 43. Matt Stafford 40. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 quarterbacks at 40 million or above.
Okay.
And then there's 3 more in the 33 to 37 range. Baker, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith at 25.
I think he lands in the 30 range if he continues like this.
Okay.
But
like Baker, make Baker at 33, kind of a.
But a fun game to add on to what you just talked about, Phil, would be pick the teams where we think Sam might sign, and then say, will he still be their starting quarterback in 26? Because I think if he picks the wrong team, I think there's a chance this all flames out.
Because a dumb franchise like the Raiders might
turn them
say,
loose.
well,
they'll
be in position to draft Shedeur if they want. But
right. But there are certain places where he could go, I think, and start for 3 years and be pretty good. There are certain places where he could get haughty and say, this is me now. And I don't know, it would work out long term.
What about Cleveland? If they kept that Stefanski, it's kind of a Kubiak play action. It's a very quarterback-friendly system.
Deshaun Watson, though.
Well, he's not playing next year.
Because I thought of that one. But like, is he just off the books? Can they get him off the books? I mean, it's a huge cap hit. I guess you could.
You'd have to. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you'd have to figure out.
But yes, Stefanski, I think, would do a good job with Sam. That's a good one.
All right, Judd. I think we're back to Judd here, aren't we?
Sure. Why
or is
not?
It back to me? Is it back to me? I think
it's back to you, but I can take it. I don't care.
I'll give you
I'm
this
always
one.
open.
Let me give you this one. Yeah, you're Jordan Addison after yesterday.
I'm always open.
Rick Spielman is going to save the New York Jets, apparently.
He was on this washi. The Commanders did the same thing with him. I saw this.
And he did, dude. He helped them structure things. Declan sent us this link from Adam Schefter here. So the Jets are retaining the 33rd team media company to support their upcoming general manager and head coaching searches. Former Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum and former Vikings GM Rick Spielman will lead the project, and the 33rd team will provide its data analysis and experience to assist the Jets in their search for new leadership.
This is why everyone should aspire to be a consultant. They're probably going to make a boatload of cash off of a couple of guys. And, okay, Spielman did the Washington thing, sort of get that. Mike Tannenbaum, are you serious? If I'm the Jets, I wouldn't let that dude near anything I'm doing anymore. Like it just shows how dysfunctional.
Well, it's kind of, isn't it funny that Woody Johnson was the one that fired Mike Tannenbaum 10 years ago, and now he's retaining him. Just like Woody Johnson demanded that Rex Ryan be fired, but now Rex Ryan is going on podcasts saying, after 10 years of being in the media, that I would love to be a head coach again for the New York Jets. I feel like so you've got Tannenbaum, who's helping with the search, and then Rex Ryan, who wants to be like a candidate here. You know what? I'd love to see Rex back.
Oh, it would be
in
fun.
That Jets green, man.
It would be fun.
Make it happen.
The Jets are just such a disaster. Like, it's just I don't understand how an organization can be run like there's always one or two of these constantly in this league. Washington before, right? Where it's just like the dumpster fire nature of what you're doing in a billion-dollar biggest league in the world, basically, or second to soccer, and you're just stooges.
Maybe this is a hot take, but the Jets, who are the lowest bar in the league, I feel like everything Judd just said, could do a lot worse than Rick Spielman as the general manager. In fact, if they were to say, we are hiring Rick Spielman to get our roster right and to at least create some structure here and some leadership, he whiffed on a bunch of quarterbacks, and by the end, his relationship with Mike Zimmer was a disaster. But Rick Spielman spent over a decade building really competitive rosters and a good competitive culture.
Right. But the question is, if they were to hire Rick, would they allow Rick to run the team? Because it sounds like at the end of the day, Woody basically imparts himself into everything. He goes out and convinces Rodgers to play, right, for the Jets, and then demands this massive trade, which didn't necessarily make sense. So I think the problem is, do you want to work for a guy who at the most key times is going to usurp your power and, screw things up?
And then land a helicopter on the practice field and fire your ass?
Yeah.
That's a great story.
What a joke. Okay. I am open. And I'm going to take us to the world of college football. Huntington Bank Stadium on Saturday. Here's my statement. The Gopher football program, unfortunately, got PJ'd at the worst possible time. So, this was, contrary to what I thought, this was a far more winnable game. In fact, it's a game that should have been won. But can I take
Tried to tell you. Tried to tell you guys.
Well, you did, but what you didn't factor in was the PJ'd ability to basically screw up a game. So can I take you Saturday, fourth quarter? Gophers are down by what at the time? 4 points. They're down by 4 points, okay? So you are in the red of Penn State. Things are looking great. You attempt, because I think these things go hand in hand. I think it's very important to keep them tied together. You attempt, I believe it was on second down, a trick play that you've been working on to your left tackle.
Yeah.
Max Brosmer, to his credit, sees it's not going to work and throws the ball away instead of trying to force a pass to a guy who doesn't catch passes. Actually, a very smart play. But within that sequence, what we learned was it worked in practice, but it worked all week in practice.
You hate trick plays.
Yes,
That's what we're
I
learning.
don't. No, I love the trick play.
No,
I love the trick play that resulted
plays.
in the touchdown because that was skill position
Oh,
guys.
so now we're playing the results.
We're playing the results and we're playing when circumstances. I don't mind
after the fact.
a left tackle attempt like that. If you do it in the first half, it goes awry. If it doesn't get picked off, the quarterback at the end of the day did the right thing. He's like, okay, screw it. This is not going to work. Let's eat the ball. He did. Threw it away. I hate trick plays when you are like, it worked in practice. Well, okay, dude, it's the fourth quarter of this game. But anyway, I digress.
But like, what other data would you like? You can't run a trick play unless it works in practice.
It's a left
and you're
tackle.
not going to have like 10 different examples in a game. It
It's
wouldn't
a
be a trick play.
to the left tackle. As Chip Scoggins wrote in Sunday's paper, it's one thing if it's a skill position trick play where everybody knows what they're doing, but you're just assuming that your left tackle, that you're going to razzle-dazzle Penn State here with this. There wasn't enough thought given to when to do it. But anyway, I digress. That's not the main point. The main point is you are going for it, PJ Fleck. Okay, the trick play makes sense in this instance. You're all in. Your season's not great, but it's certainly not a disaster. You got a chance for a huge win here, and you're trying to get to a bowl game, and it's going to be it's going to be improved if you win. So now we get fourth down. 4th and goal at the Penn State 8. Okay, you're going for it. You just ran a trick play. It didn't work, but that's fine. You're back. You're gonna go for the touchdown now. You're gonna go for the win. You send your kicker on to get you down by 1. And I immediately texted you guys and Chip, and I said, how do they know they're going to get the ball back? And Chip's like, well, the defense has been good. And I'm like, yeah.
They had timeouts.
Yeah, but how do you know you're going to get the ball back? And they
well,
never.
they did. If not for the fake punt thing, is the most egregious.
Well, and then the fake punt thing, they run the punt team out there. Penn State sees that and pulls off the trick play in that case because the Gophers didn't think about the fact that Penn State might have.
Wait a second, though. Wait, though. Wasn't that a little risky of Penn State to run a trick play with the game on the line?
It absolutely was. But I'm telling you, the Gophers had the ability. Well, first of all, running the trick play with the up back taking the ball. The left tackle has never caught a ball in his life. Never caught a ball.
He has.
In his life.
In practice.
In practice. But here's the problem. The problem is you run the trick play, so you're going for it. I appreciate that. And then at the moment of truth, you kick the field goal. And I immediately said, you might not get the ball. You can't be assured of. This is PJ'd the game again, overthought everything. Don't fire him because it doesn't matter, but this was the time to go for the win.
I have zero problem with the trick play. Trick plays don't work all the time, but if it works, you score a touchdown. I know you hate trick plays. I don't want to. We don't have to fight that. I actually didn't even hate the field goal because you had timeouts, your defense, and if you could go field goal, and win the game that way, that would be nice. And it worked because they got the stop that they needed. But then they knew that Penn State was going to run the football and they were going to stop them. And for your special teams, to me, the headline is, how the bleep do you allow a fake punt to be the game-changing play in that situation? Fake punt.
Okay, but you can't assume that that's not going to happen then. Oh, we'll get the ball back. We'll get the ball back.
I'm saying when you assumed correctly that you're going to stop them.
Right.
And now when it's time for them to punt, you don't let your guard down and just expect that they're going to.
But that's how you don't get the ball. That's how you don't get the ball back. But you don't run the trick play and then kick the field goal. You're all in, and your record dictates there's no reason not to go for it.
I thought it was a great moral victory for the Gophers.
It was
on Saturday.
Well,
they were the better team.
You know what? Blame me. It's all on me. Blame me. It's all my fault. Blame me. Don't blame the kids. There's a lot of tears in there. There's a lot of guys crying. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. The seniors are crying. What are you talking about? It's not like you lost a chance to win the Big Ten West. They took the Big Ten West away because your program and the rest of the teams in the West were such a joke.
Do we have like the updated College Bowl projections here today? We have to, right? Oh yeah. USA Today has it. What are we projected for at this point? Because we're 6 wins. Like even if they lose to Wisconsin,
we're going with the classic Meineke.
I don't think that one exists anymore.
No, I think we're
the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Duke's Mayo Bowl. Okay.
And it would be Duke versus Minnesota on January 3rd. The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Okay.
According to
that's fine.
USA Today.
That's fine. And don't forget too, Friday's game, or I'm sorry, the Badgers game on Friday instead of Saturday, which I didn't know until I actually saw the schedule yesterday.
Yeah, short week.
Short week.
And
short
it's a
weeks
morning
are tough.
game.
All my fault if the team's not prepared. It's all on me.
But it probably won't be. So
yeah, and I'm going to try 8 trick plays.
Oh man, Dex.
Yeah, I have another statement. I'm going to go back to the NFL, and I think we might start a little bit of an argument here. My statement is, I think we need to stop disrespecting Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. So we are guilty, and myself included, by the way, of clowning this guy for being a buffoon. We treat Nick Sirianni, and we talk about him in the same breath that we do with Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
Since Nick Sirianni took over for the Eagles, he has coached 62 regular season games. How many wins do you think Nick Sirianni has as a head coach?
A lot. Yeah.
43.
Yeah.
He has won 43 out of 62 regular season games. He's been to a Super Bowl. He has balanced offense. He has an offense right now in points that is 3rd. The defense is 6th. Like, this is not a guy that is just stumbling his way to success. Keep in mind, he inherited Jalen Hurts from the Doug Peterson regime, stuck with him in his first season, and then in his second year as a head coach, turned Jalen Hurts into the runner-up for NFL MVP. And the Eagles are still very much in the driver's seat to be one of the contenders to go to the Super Bowl again. And we are just treating this guy as if he is one of the biggest buffoons in the NFL, when all he does, DJ Khaled, is win. He's 43-19 in the NFL. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I know there's some slippery slope sometimes with his comments. Don't get me wrong. I don't love some of his body language and the way he talks. However, the dude is winning consistently, and I think we don't give him enough respect for that.
I think the reason why, as a leader of a good football team, he probably does deserve a lot more respect. I think his rogue behavior and just immature, weird, confrontational behavior brings it on himself.
Yeah.
And then the fact that the organization stripped all play calling duties from him, there's a bunch of successful coaches, like John Harbaugh doesn't call plays, right? So there's a bunch of examples of successful coaches that don't call plays, but all of those things combined with the meltdown. But yeah, the last month and a half, and the most important person that Nick Sirianni should thank for helping him turn this around perception-wise and wins and losses is Saquon freaking Barkley.
Oh, he's awesome.
Who just set the Eagles record yesterday for single-game rushing yards, 255 rushing yards, and 300 scrimmage yards, because he also caught like 47 yards worth of passes. So he's leading the league with almost 1,400 yards through 11 games. He's on pace to break, I believe, Chris Johnson's single-season yards from scrimmage record. So if you're Sirianni, it helps to have a dude that a bell cow, old-school, throwback, versatile guy that you can just feed and save your organization.
Yeah. Thank you, Giants.
Man. How about if you're a Giants fan, watch Saquon do that for the Eagles yesterday while you run out Tommy Cutlets, Baker Mayfield mocking him in the end zone.
Explain to me with where the Giants are right now, how anyone survives this. Like,
I know they got the vote of confidence a few weeks ago.
I know, which is dreaded. But I mean, the GM, like, this is awful.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't watch the game against the Buccaneers, but it sure felt like, and I saw post-game stories that the Giants basically just said, screw it. And then Baker is trolling Tommy Cutlets with his celebration, which I love, which is fantastic. But it just feels like the Giants are going to end up with some type of house cleaning. I still so where does Belichick land, do we think, right now? Where do you guys think
the Giants, wouldn't the Giants be a full circle moment for him, but he'd have to start over at quarterback?
Yeah. Jacksonville?
There's been some Jacksonville steam. Give him an actual. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been disappointed, but
he's back, right? Like he's going to come back. Yeah, Bill's going to come back.
He wants to. Yeah, he wants to. Do we have? We must have odds on. Let me just do it before Declan fires. Maybe Declan can fire someone in place of Belichick. Bill Belichick odds.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. This is from bookies.com. Let's go there. Dallas Cowboys plus 350.
Okay.
I don't know about that one. No. I mean,
I don't see him.
Parcells made it.
But Jerry Jones and Bill, I don't know. Like Bill would need complete control from Jerry Jones.
Chicago Bears plus 450. Some talent on defense.
Caleb Williams.
And you can't say that Bill doesn't work with young quarterbacks because he's hard on them, but one of the greatest examples ever of working with a young quarterback.
That's interesting.
New York Giants plus 650. Eagles are still on here at a plus 750. If they spectacularly flame out in the playoffs, they could still find. Everything Declan said about Sirianni is right, but if they get their doors blown off inexplicably in the first round of the playoffs, they could still fire that guy.
Well, and he is an ass.
Yeah. And then there's a few like the Jets. He's not going to the Jets.
No, he hates the Jets.
Zero chance.
He trolls them constantly.
I think it's time for Declan to fire someone's ass here on a Statements Monday.
I'm actually a little surprised we didn't bring this up during the Statements episode. We talked a lot about it yesterday on Ventline. I am firing the chain gang committee of the NFL. This is very easy for me. So I went back, or I tried to do a little Google searching of how does this get determined? What are these guys being paid? So I bring you an article from sportskita.com. Quote, while they don't get the recognition they deserve, it has brought into focus the importance of chain gangs in the NFL. Unlike other administrative staff, like the referees, the chain gang is not appointed by the league. They belong to each individual team, and they get paid anywhere between $75 to $100 per game. And
What?
some teams,
That's it?
some teams have it different. Like the Ravens are only paying them $72 per game, but the Bills are paying these guys by the hour, which is like $40 an hour. So you can actually make a little bit more money, I suppose.
What?
I don't understand how a multi-billion-dollar industry is reliant on random high school referees getting to hold chains at an NFL game, and we should just be okay with that because it's an old relic of the past. Do you remember? Not even remember, because even in Minnesota, these still exist. The Amish communities still exist in Minnesota, right? They don't use a car. They use a horse and buggy to get around. All right, so when was the car invented? Like 100 years? I don't know, 150 years ago? I'm not going to pretend to know when the first Model T car came out.
I want you to, just for fun, just guess a year when the car was invented.
1910. I really don't know.
I bet that's a good guess.
It's definitely 1885 was the first prototype. So
all right.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that when the car came out, we all thought, well, what about the horse and buggy? We can't take that away from our daily transportation. And now there's cars everywhere. There are cars driving themselves. And if you want to use the horse and buggy, and if you want to live that lifestyle, go ahead. I don't care. But we have adapted as society. Isn't that a crazy idea that we've adapted? In the NFL, we are still reliant on chains and older people holding them because it's a relic of the past. I don't understand. Fire them all.
So they're also like, I mean, I'll give you the Vince here. Not to be an ageist, but the NFL is a game of young, 25-year-old, premier, universal athletes running full speed up and down the sideline and out of bounds. I mean, it's like head on a swivel, right? And it feels like all these chain gang guys are like 71 years old and have zero chance to get out of the way if an actual player comes flying into that. It's kind of dangerous, man. Like these dudes
dangerous.
Yeah. Well, and like, where is the technology? Like, how does every pylon in the end zone not have a sensor? So if the football crosses it, right, or touches the goal line, it goes off somehow. Like, it's because, to further Declan's point, it's up to a guy who's standing yards away at the pylon himself, right, to say, I think I saw the ball cross. Like,
it's
like the updating that this league could do and doesn't do is hilarious.
Yeah, and we already ranted on Purple Daily on Ventline and on Monday, Hottest Vikings Takes, about the sideline cam, the overhead sideline cam. And Mike Pereira said, well, here's a very clear view that shows you that Jordan Addison stayed in bounds. Unfortunately, the officials are not allowed to use this view because not every stadium has this technology. You're all fired.
It is incredible.
You're all fired.
You're cutting corners. You're $1 billion league and you're cutting corners.
It's hilarious.
I love
all right, boys. Monday statements. Declan firing someone's ass.
Good work.
On Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd. Tomorrow on this podcast, Darren Doogie Wolfson with a scoop session. Plenty of Vikings discussions over on the Purple Daily podcast feed and on the YouTube channel. We'll catch you guys. Also, Flagrant Howls was very feisty today, so we are loaded with content across the SKOR North network of pods. See you.
That one.